Hi guys, Luton here, and okay, DICE have posted a blog post discussing about the netcode. This is something that's been ongoing for a long time. Everybody's talking about the netcode all the time. It's got to be the #1 complaint that people discuss about, and they've made this big post detailing a lot of sort of statements, information. But it's all very vague, it's all very general, there's no timelines, there's no specifics. They do break down the elements. I'll read you the first intro here, you can check it out yourself, I'll put it in the notes below. It says, we at DICE are committed to improving the overall Battlefield 4 multiplayer experience for our players. Some issues, commonly referenced in conjunction to netcode, are preventing Battlefield 4 from performing optimally for everyone. And with this post we would like to explain what we're doing to address these problems. Fixing commonly nicknamed netcode issues, problems ranging between faulty networking, latency compensation, and glitches in the gameplay simulation itself. It goes on to talk about it being a big priority and fixing glitches and so on and so on. And they break down in kind of, I don't know, sort of layman's terms how some of these elements work. And then it goes on to explain what are we fixing or investigating, and those are rubber banding, kill camera delay, player death sinks, tick rate, I'll come back to that, no registered damage, instant death when sprinting, various item issues, network troubleshooting icons that have come in. What else have we got here? We've also, okay, what have we fixed? Kill card shows 0 health, broken collisions, crosshair disappearings, hit impact sounds, headshot icons, and they finish off by saying, we want to assure you that we're constantly investigating or already in the process of updating all these items and several more that you've had concerns with, and that we'll continue to do so with your help. Please continue to send us your feedback, and thank you for all continued support. But does anybody really buy all that? I don't know. It's just, it's been rolling on, it's been rattling around for so long, and I don't really know if anybody really sort of believes it. I kind of, you know how I discussed before about saying, well, when the game first came out I was very optimistic, and I lent on the side of giving benefit of the doubt, and I wanted to see what they would do, and to begin with the communication was good in terms of the forums, and then it just kind of stopped, and that was kind of annoying. And that combined with the fact, I mean, despite the fact that for myself overall hadn't been too bad until the last patch, and then hilariously I've actually had a lot more problems, more crashes, more general issues. Definitely the issues kind of where you have no damage. I've had some very frustrating stuttering, everybody gets the stuttering. You know, you come around a corner, I had this terrible one on Locker, and it was like, you know, Locker, god, you need to be really sharp on that to really sort of handle anything. And it would be like, you know, you come around a corner, you stutter, and so many times it happened to me. You know, I come around a corner, and just as I was about to open fire, screen freeze for about 2 seconds, and then you're dead on the floor, and it's like, god damn, like, you had the drop on someone, and you know you had the advantage in that situation, and then you get a stutter, and you're down, and it's so aggravating. They've said that they're going to address that. There was other times as well, like the lack of damage stuff, where I would open fire on a guy, and I put like 5 or 6 rounds towards that person, and it's like no hit marker, no hit marker, no hit marker. In the meantime, they've clocked me, turned to you, and bam, you're down. And it's, again, it's, you're kind of like, it's different if you get kind of caught out, or you're in one of those kind of screwed situations where it doesn't really matter, you probably were going to die anyway or whatever, and you had some kind of other problems happening. But it's those one-on-one situations. I think that's what's most annoying with the netcode stuff, is the one-on-ones where you know, 2 of you approach a kind of a local area at the same time. Perhaps you kind of come into a piece of cover, you see someone else moving, you lock them first. Okay, you got them in your sights, you're at good range, you know that the bullets are going to hit, you know that you're on target, you start to open fire, and then it's kind of like the netcode screws, and then in that process they become aware of you, and it kind of gives them an uneven advantage, and then they put you down, and it's like, it's so aggravating because you know you had a guaranteed kill, and that is what's so frustrating. It's absolutely agonizing. I mean, when the purpose of the game is that kind of dynamic, I mean, that's pretty much the core element of the game, is those kind of engagements between other players. And it's so when that is lost, that's really what gets frustrating. Now, again, for those of you that didn't see, I should refer you to my cards on the table video, because in my cards on the table video I talk about why I have changed up my opinion, because again, in the past I've been more positive and more optimistic about this, and I still want to be, I still want to expect that things are going to change, that they're going to get fixed up, but I thought it was important to note, you know, that it wasn't like I sort of woke up and was like, right, that's it, screw it, although it kind of was actually, but you know, I wanted to kind of try and put forward the thought process about why I have come to be at a slightly different standing than I was previously in regards to these kind of elements and code issues. But anyway, so let's just get into a couple of these little bits and pieces. So they talk about rubber banding. This is something that people have a lot of problems with, especially I know a lot of console guys tend to talk about this quite often. I haven't had this so much with PC, but I have experienced it a lot of times on Battlefield 3 and 4. We've made several server optimizations that have decreased rubber banding for some players to further address the issue. I like this, some players. There are upcoming fixes for packet loss and a customized screen bug, both connected to the rubber banding issue. Furthermore, we'll continue to collect data to pinpoint exactly when and why rubber banding is occurring. Okay, that's great. Tick rate was another one. Now, I was interested that they included tick rate. When I was looking down through this list, I was like, yeah, okay, fix this, and then I saw tick rate, and I was like, really? You're gonna address tick rate? Look, I'm not an absolutely, you know, the most technical person when it comes to these kind of things, but I understand the principle, okay? And it's like, with the tick rate, I mean, this was another thing. There was a post, which I probably can't be bothered to find, but there was a post in the Battlelog forums, and no, sorry, not the Battle. It was Reddit. It was on Reddit, and obviously DICE people get involved on Reddit in the Battlefield section, and they often answer questions or sort of provide feedback. And people have been talking about the tick rate in Battlefield 4, and they were saying, oh, it's so much lower, and it's much worse than Counter-Strike, and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, look, CS is an entirely different game. It's completely different. You can't put the two side by side. It's totally different. And then it's like, so basically, the people were saying that, yeah, with Battlefield 4, the tick rate was so much lower, okay? And it's like, yeah, but then you had a DICE guy come in and said it was the same as Battlefield 3. Okay, so theoretically, if it was fine for Battlefield 3 and they used the same tick rate for Battlefield 4, then it should be the same. It should be the same experience as you had with Battlefield 3. And even if it varies a little bit, it shouldn't cause such a significant issue. But I feel that this post of the tick rate, okay, I feel is a significant element of this netcode post on the blog, because I feel like they're kind of addressing an issue that they wouldn't have brought up had people not been ranting on about it. And a few producers and other people have kind of got on the back of this tick rate thing. I have spoken to multiple producers who think that basically it's a load of bollocks, and I kind of agree. I don't really think that it's a major issue. I think it's something that people have been, you know, people are trying to find some kind of answer, and so they start reading between the lines and they start looking into things that aren't really relevant. And this is so typical of the internet, and it's so typical of like YouTube and forums and Reddit and all this kind of stuff. And people just start going off on one, and they find, you know, some guy finds something and he's like, oh my god, Leah, look, you know, in CS it's so much higher, and you know, bigger numbers means always it must be better, so this must be the solution. And it's kind of like, probably not, you know. And then you have a DICE guy saying, well, look, it's the same as Battlefield 3. So, I mean, surely immediately the credibility of that goes down. Now, if it had a slightly higher tick rate, may it improve the service of the game? It may do. It may do it a little bit, and perhaps that's why they're addressing it. But I really don't. It doesn't hold with me that this is the fundamental issue. And some people really are in this kind of like tick rate camp where they're kind of like, yes, it will fix everything. And I really don't. It doesn't hold fire with me, to be honest. So, you know, and I want the game to improve, you know, as much as anybody, but I just don't really have a lot of faith within that element there, and I don't think it's the most important thing. But as I say, I do think it's important that they included it in this blog, because it does signify that they are looking at what people are talking about. But then, is it good that they've included it because people are talking about it? It's kind of like always this, isn't it? It's, you know, the vocal minority, and that's never a good thing for me personally. And then they go on to talking about some other bits and pieces, registered damage, instant death, and all these kind of things. So just kind of talking generally. As I say, I think the biggest thing for me is kind of curious as to why this came now and not before. I mean, surely like a month ago or 2 months ago, this would have been a great time to put it out. Why didn't this come out when they were talking about cancelling DLCs? Why didn't they post this then? I mean, how much really is this? What is it, like 5 to 10, like 15 paragraphs? I mean, surely someone could have bashed this out in an afternoon, and, you know, even if it was really vague, this is my point. when a dev's going to get together and kind of realize, hey, look, you know, that we have a lot of people playing the game, we need to throw people a bone, you know, tell them you're doing something, because it's that reassurance that's important. You're reassuring people that you're doing it, okay? It's like when you know, if you're broken down by the side of the road and you're waiting for a repair guy to come, they'll often phone you and tell you, hey, we're on the way. So you're like, oh, thank God, you know, alright, my car's broken down, but they're on the way, so, you know, good job with that. People want that. They don't want to wait like 3 months' time and then go, oh, they are working on it. Oh, thank God. After all this time, we thought they just didn't give a shit. And it's like, you know, it would be really beneficial for everybody if they could just do that. Just keep up to date, you know, tell people what you're doing. And this applies to all devs. It sounds like I'm having a bit of a bash against, you know, this, but it's not really that. It's kind of more of a general trend. And I do think that we're going to see that going forward into other titles. I think we will see more of it, but it's just like not coming yet. And yeah, hopefully in the next, you know, titles coming forward. I mean, Titanfall, let's see how that goes. I'm curious to see how the release of that goes. 48 gig, by the way. Looking forward to that, eh? 48 gig. That's like a whole other topic. I was going to do a video talking about the 48 gig for Titanfall, and then I thought, you know, no. So, anyway. So, Netcode, what do you think? Are you convinced by this? We'll see. I mean, the proof is in the pudding, so just got to wait and see, really. So there we go, guys, that's it, Netcode today. What do you think? Read the blog, leave your comments below. I look forward to having a little look through and a read. As I say, I personally feel like this is a post that could have been made a couple of months ago, but regardless, it's here now, so yeah, there we go. It's good that they're still being involved, and you know, we've got Naval Strike coming up. You know, there's a lot of things coming in, there's a lot of changes going to happen. I'm going to be curious to see where our standing is in a month's time. I'll be interested to see where Battlefield 4 stands in a month in terms of feedback from the next DLC and updates, maybe this netcode. So it's going to be a pretty interesting month. I think there's a lot of things coming this way which could change things around, or not, as the case may be. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time for some more Battlefield 4.